Shalom, shalom, shalom. Want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakakudash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, told me the truth and rule well. Shalom. Hopefully that this lesson be edifying to the hopeful elect. I got a couple, there's various topics out of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, and then I'm going to start at 2nd Esdras, chapter 2. So 2nd Esdras, chapter 2, and Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thus saith the Lord, I brought this people out of bondage. If you go to, as people always say, if you go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68, that'll tell you who went to bondage. The same people that went into Egypt, they were scattered across the nations of the world and the four corners of the earth. Thus saith the Lord, I brought this people out of bondage, and I gave them my commandments. By my servants, the prophets, whom they would not hear, but they despised my counsels. So the prophets are the servants of the Most High. They're here in the end days, so they're part of the 1/3. The ones that despised the commandments were the 2/3. All right, that was verse 1. I'm gonna go over to. Okay, now I'm gonna go to verse 2. The mother that bare them saith unto them, Go your way, ye children, for I am a widow and forsaken. That's the homeland of Israel. Because we didn't listen to the commandments, we were kicked out of Israel. We're not in the homeland right now. All right, so this is 2nd Esdras chapter 20, verse 20. 2nd Esdras chapter 2, verse 20. Do right to the widow, judge for the fatherless. This is the commandments to the prophets. Do right to the widow, judge for the fatherless. The fatherless is the Israelites, because he forsook us when he scattered us for going against his commandments. So at that moment we were fatherless. But he covered us, as we know in Isaiah. I can't remember what chapter it is, but it's in Isaiah where he said he would watch over. He would send his angels to watch over us as we came over on ships. All right. To the fatherless, give to the poor, defend the orphan. I'm gonna get the definition for orphan. All right, so it says a child deprived by the death of one or usually both parents. So we know that the Most High is he lives forever, but we were banished from that land. He sent us into a mighty captivity. So we know that's what that's referring to. It says clothe the naked. So when you're naked, you're exposed. When you're naked, that means you're unclean. That means you're sinning. You're wicked. Basically, it says clothe the naked. So that means basically show them show the children of the Most High their transgressions. So you're gonna clothe them, and in doing that, they're gonna be clothed. They're gonna be clean. Then it says, heal the broken and the weak. This is verse 21. Laugh not a lame man to scorn. Defend the maimed. Let the blind man come into the sight of my cleanliness. So all throughout the Bible it says people basically are going to be blind. You're going to be blind to the truth. All right. So when he gives you eyes to see what actually is going on in the world, then you won't be blind anymore. And saying that, I'm saying that to say this, like everything is a distraction. Everything is a distraction. As far as media, sports, and just things like that. Those things are made to blind you, but when you come up out of that, then you start to see the world for what it really is. All right. It says, and this is verse 36. I mean, and then this goes hand in hand with this. You can say, It says, flee the shadow of this world, receive the joyfulness of the glory. I testify my Savior openly. So it says, flee the shadow. So when you in the shadow, you're in darkness. When you come into the light, you're no longer blind. All right. You can see clearly what's going on, the deceitfulness of this world. All right, and you go to verse 37. Oh, receive the gift that is given you, and be glad, giving thanks unto him that hath called you. It's like it. Oh, receive the gift that is given you, and be glad, giving thanks unto him that hath called you to the heavenly kingdom. So the gift that's being referred to in this verse is talking about salvation and the kingdom of heaven. And then at the same time, if you open your eyes to see, because it's a lot of deceit in this world. So if you open your eyes to the truth, then that's even a gift. You know what I'm saying? All right, then you go to verse 40. Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord. The number of thy children whom thou longest for is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Lord, that thy people which have been called from the beginning may be hallowed. So it says these people have been called from the beginning. So it said they were clothed in white. So if you go to, I'm not sure what chapter it is in Revelation, but it talks about people clothed in white. It's talking about the elect. Those are the people that are perfect in the eyes of the Most High. They were predestined from the beginning. All right, so it says, Esdras is a prophet. He wrote the books of First Esdras and Second Esdras. I saw upon the Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number. They all praised the Lord with songs, and in the midst of them there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So this person that he's talking about is Yahweh Shah, the Son of the Most High. So he said that he said he was taller than the rest. He set upon them their heads crowns, and he was more exalted. So the elect is going to be joint heirs with Yahweh Shah, but ultimately we know that he falls directly under the Most High, So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be that they that have put off the mortal clothing. So the mortal clothing is they were dirty from this world, the deception of this world, until the Most High opened their eyes. It says, put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal. So they put on immortality. They came back into that true heritage. They were clean. They were sanctified in his eyes. Okay, and have confessed the name of God, and so the name of power, of the ultimate power, the Almighty. So from there, Ecclesiasticus. I'm going to Ecclesiasticus 1:1, because it says the name of God. All right, and it reads, Ecclesiasticus 1:1, whereas many and great things have been delivered unto us by the law and the prophets, and by others that have followed their steps, for which things Israel ought to be commended for learning and wisdom, and whereof not only the readers must needs become skillful themselves, but also they that desire to learn be able to profit them which are without, both by speaking and writing by the grandfather Jesus, when he had much given himself to the reading of the law and the prophets and the other books of our fathers, and had gotten therein good judgment, was drawn on also himself to write something pertaining to learning and wisdom, to the intent that those which are desirous to learn and addicted to these things might profit much more in living according to the law. Wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and pardon us wherein we may seem to come short of some words, but which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them, and not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference. when they are spoken in their own language. For in eight and for in the 8 and 30th year coming into Egypt, the Urjates was king, and continuing there some time, I found a book of no small learning. Therefore, I thought it most necessary for me to bestow some diligence and travail to interpret it, using great watchfulness and skill and that space to bring the book to an end, and set forth for them also, which in a strange country are willing to learn, being prepared before in manners to live after that law. All right, so I read that whole verse, but we see that it says, for which we have labored to interpret, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference. So we know we got to be saying the names in Hebrew. You can't be saying it in English, right? You know, you got some people that say it doesn't matter, but right here it matters. This is one of the book. This book right here, the Apocrypha, it took it out in the 1800s because they believed that it didn't fit the narrative of the rest of the Bible. But we need to be reading this too, all right? And I'm gonna go back. It says, okay, and confess the name of God. Now they are crowned and receive palms. And you know, when you receive a palm, that signifies victory. All right, then said I unto the angel, what young person is this that crowneth them and giveth the palms in their hands? So he said unto me, so he answered and said unto me, it is the Son of God, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. And there goes the name again. Then the angel said unto me, go thy way and tell the people that the manner of these things and how great the wonders of the Lord thy God thou hast seen. So he basically, it was a vision. He gave Esdras a vision, all right, to see these things in the end. All right, so from there I'm gonna go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. Yep, there we go. All right, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. For our life is short and tedious, and in the death of the man that there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the movement of our heart, which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as soft as the air. And our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance. And our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof. So this is the descendants of Esau, Edom. This basically what the elites are saying right now. They know that they're gonna vanish, as it says in this verse. They're gonna disappear. Like in the kingdom, people are gonna be like, it's somewhere written in the Bible. It says that they're gonna be like, where does God go? We haven't seen him. So basically, it's going to be no more Edomites in the kingdom after hardcore slavery, and then after they wiped out. All right. For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning. For it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. So that's what they doing. Like it says, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures. What is a creature? It's a creation. The Creator made the Israelites. It says use the creatures like as in youth. So basically, what they did was they used that was slavery. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they were withered. I mean, that's what you see, man. Like the average Edomite, nowadays they live lavishly, man. They live in big, man. I'm gonna go to verse 10. It says, "Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged." And they got their old saying. Everybody has the old saying, like, respect your elders. It said in reverence, we know reverence means to respect. It's a deep respect. It says, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. So they wasn't giving a fuck, man. Like, in slavery, they fed kids to alligators. They beat young people. And even people that like in their 20s and stuff, and then the older slaves and stuff, they showed them no mercy. So that goes with that verse. Go to verse 12. It says, hold on. Verse 11. "Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble found to be nothing worth. Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objecteth the infamy, the transgressings of our education." So us Israelites, we were made to be righteous, and we go against everything that Esau stands for. All right, his law is strictly to make us go off. Like, everything that he does is to, make us sin against the Most High. So, you got like say like a pig or something. They make bacon, pork chops, even in candy, man. They got pork and candy, man. They got pork and candy. They got pork and wine. They got it in Jello. Just a lot of stuff, man. Like, everything in this society is made for the men of the Lord to go against. It's made, everything in this society is made against the men of the Lord, so that we can't follow the laws, essentially. All right, and then where was I at? He professeth, this is verse 13. He professeth to have the knowledge of God, of Yahweh, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. He was made to reprove our thoughts. He is grievous unto us to behold, for his life is not like the other men's. His ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways, from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that power is his father. Let us see if his words be true. So right here, it's talking about the Israelite man. It's saying that he's saying that Yahweh is his father, and they basically testing the men of the Lord right here. It says, where was that? Let us see if his words be true. Let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if he is the just man, for if the just man be the son of power, he will help them. So basically, they're saying, like, all right, so with slavery, if the slave, they were saying that they were the children of power. They were basically saying, the Edomites were saying, if that is true, then the Lord would save them from slavery. Same thing out here when you see, people of brown descent getting shot in the streets. That's essentially the same thing. All right. Well, yeah. And to elaborate on that, people are out here getting shot in the streets. It says they will see if he will help them, and essentially we know that we were sent here because we didn't listen. But that's the I would say that's the pride of Esau. He's testing the words of the Heavenly Father, basically. Okay, and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. All right, so then you go to verse 23. For Yahweh created man to be immortal, and made him to be the image of his own eternity. Nevertheless, through the envy of the devil came death into the world, and they that do hold of his side do find it. All right, so yeah, basically since the beginning, Esau has been envying the blessing that Jacob received. So they made a society where it makes the Israelite man go off because out of their jealousy. They want that blessing, and that's ultimately what it's about. All right. So hopefully that was edifying to the hopeful elect. Call Halayim La, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah Ba'Shem, Rakakudash. Double honor to the others in the possible great